In this session, we will be discussing or demonstrating reconciliation in customer accounts. Reconciliation are done in the financial module, just financials, nominal ledger, reconciliations, account reconciliations. Now the reconciliation are comprised of several steps. The first step is prepare for reconciliation. We hit on it, we choose AR ledger, which means accounts receivable as customers. We hit OK. We choose an account number. This time I'm going to choose, sorry, not here, here. Open the list. Odebrecht. Okay, the Odebrecht account. You can leave all the others blank and hit OK. This is something else. Just a minute, okay. Now once the reconciliation are prepared, we go to the form reconciliation worksheet. We hit on it, click on it. Interruptions here. Now in the reconciliation form, there are several columns. On the left hand side, we see the sum column, which displays sums of either debit or credit lines. Here under the debit column, we will see only transaction in debit, or here under credit, only transactions in credit. But in the sum columns, we see all the transactions. The idea is to be able to sort by number, by value, by the sum column, in order to find transactions in debit and credit that have the same value. For example, if we can click on the column title and to sort by this title, by this column, by the sum, and now we can see transactions with the same value, one behind or under the other. In order to see which transaction really match, we have to make sure that they are done more or less in the same date, and we usually try to look for any reference or something that shows us that this transaction really can be matched. If we think we have a match, in this case I can assume that the 1,000 in debit and credit they can be reconciled. I'm moving to the reconciliation column, and I give those two transactions the same number. Let's say 1 and 1. Then I can see there's no match at the moment for the 2,300 line. I then continue. These two lines maybe need a check why they have a difference in the debit is higher than the credit. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's a typing error, or maybe it was done from some reason on a different value. Then we go to the 4,000. We try to see if we can find a match. They were all done more or less on the same dates. Nothing special about the references. In this case, I can mark them all together with a different number. Let's say 2, 2, 2, and 2. I move on. I'm looking now at the 5,000 lines. Okay, if I'm looking now at the lines of the transactions with the value of 5,000 kwanza, again I can either sort them or try to see if there's any to sort them by date. If there are too many of them and I want to see if they all fit, I can also query only but for those lines. Let's say I want to see at this moment on the screen, I want to see only the lines of the 5,000. So I hit F11 and I ask only for the lines of 5,000 and hit enter, and I see them. Now I see on the screen on display only those lines. I can sort them by transaction date. So it is easier for me to do the reconciliation one by one, or if I have enough debit and credit lines, I can do them all together. Let's see. Those probably match together. I can either do 3 and 3 and then 4 and 4, or I can take the whole bunch of lines and just put the same number, 5 and 5, 5 and 5, 7, 5, 5. Okay. Now, if I'm not sure if I have a match, I can always go down to the sub-level form, the reconciliation status, to make sure I have the same debit and credit value. Here, 25 and 25 means I have the same debit and credit value, and I see it under the reconciliation status form, sub-level form. In order to finalize the transaction, I go back up to the main form. I want to see all the transactions again, so I go to the sum column. I hit F11 as a query. I put the star. It means query anything, display all the transactions that are currently on the form, and hit enter. Then I see everything that I did. I can start finalizing the transaction even if I haven't yet reconciled all the transactions. I can either finalize them one by one. Let's imagine I stay here on the line where it says reconciliation 1, and I can go to here on the right hand side to finalize reconciliation, and I can finalize them one by one. Or if I've prepared several, I can escape, leave it like this, just escape, go out of this form, and finalize the reconciliation here from the menu. If I want to reconcile more than one reconciliation at a time, then I choose account number, the one that I'm working with, which is Odebrecht. And it says we have 4 pending reconciliation. Those have been reconciled. If I'm going to go again, if I will enter the reconciliation worksheet, all the lines that are already reconciled are gone. Here we see only the transaction that haven't been reconciled yet. And then we continue just the same way with all the lines until we finish with all the unreconciled transactions.